With another episode of Random Thoughts from a soon-to-be former therapist. Wanted to keep my podcast going a little bit if I could, so today I wanted to talk about money. I've talked about money in several of my podcasts. It's just not quite so succinct or clear as maybe what I want to talk about today. So before I go too far, the Iran peace deal worked out almost exactly the way that I said it would in my last podcast. Bombs away, I think, is how it ended, with some snark. But those bombs, the truth is, never stopped dropping. I'm not sure why we keep hearing about or even talking about a peace deal. Maybe with Ukraine, it's very similar. It's a peace deal, but where? When the violence continues uninterrupted. If anything, the money attached to these deals is what deserves some real scrutiny. There's an old cliche out there that says, follow the money. The last vault that was out there for this peace deal that bombs keep dropping even today was what, $3 billion? Oh yeah, I already broke down that it was a vault and how it would be accessed, but trust me, the money's there. Earlier today, I was watching the news on the World Cup, and I reported something or reposted something that somebody had posted that struck me. The World Cup proves that people can organize, they can govern, they can get things done, and apparently they can drink enough beer to run the city of Boston totally dry. That's a true story. Self-governance clearly comes with a hangover, you know? But of course, the government isn't really about fun and games. It's about power. It's about control. It's about money. It's supposed to be about the citizenry. It's people. And again, look at the money being spent globally. Another money story that keeps looping in my mind is the cost of fighting presidential battles in the court system. I don't know if anybody's ran the totals of what has been spent around Donald Trump legal debates and troubles, but it has to be a lot of money. Whether it came from Donald Trump or DOJ or 18 departments of the federal government doesn't matter to me when it's centered around his scenarios. It's money that he's been using and fighting battles in the courts in a system that he almost single-handedly has overwhelmed. It's just one person, Trump. Say what you will about him, but he fights for what he wants, and whether that's winning votes or avoiding consequences, he does indeed fight, and he fights hard. Both are legally available, fighting for what you want and fighting against consequences. They're both legally available avenues in America. It's available to you and me, but let's be honest, it's really not freedom. It's not character. It's not brilliance that makes that possible. It's money. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money, in case I didn't mention it. Money that can hire attorneys endlessly. It's staggering to think about the attorneys, state after state after state, all the way to the Supreme Court. And then imagine how many lawyers and how many filings and how many courtrooms have orbited around this man's pursuit of power, notoriety, legacy, and fame. And in his defense, not that I really want to do this, let's assume that he is doing it for the citizenry. It's an assumption. But just imagine the cost of protecting the triumphant tower in legal battles, the new ballroom, triumphant tower and new ballroom, and it's a legal battle, and then his namesake at the Kennedy Center. That's just three, I guess, very important legal battles. And while all of that is happening, we have our own domestic money woes. Universal health care, I've spoke about it a lot, which people still argue about, even though every single person is going to need medical care at some point in their life in our country. We're still arguing about whether or not some people should go without. Free college education, I've talked about that. Of course, that debate continues. And I understand some of these are controversial from a snarky alternative view perspective taking soon to be not therapist. But let's just look at it. Universal health care. People argue about College educations, people argue about. Childcare, people are arguing about. Let me take a quick student loan tangent while we're talking about money Americans actually need. I just paid off my 1.75 interest rate student loan. That's a very low interest rate. I think it's a little lower because I had it up on automatic payments. I paid extra each month from the year 2000 until the year 2026. I'm sorry, 2005. So my first payment probably came out in 2006. So 20 years. I paid on time for 20 years. I paid it off nearly 10 years early. It's a 30-year loan. And my total repayment was about 157,000 or 159, I don't remember. But let's just go with a crap load of money. Now, here's how they broke it down whenever I paid it off. They said that I paid about $59,000 in principal. No, they said that I paid about $22,000 in interest and the rest was in principal. But if you dig deeper into it, the first original consolidated loan for all of my education, once I completed my master's, there was a $59,000 principal amount in the consolidation, but there was a $47,000 amount in interest in that consolidation. Those two together is what they're saying I paid off in principal, and that was only $22,000 where I had interest over the life of my 20-year payment. That's $69,000 in interest on a $59,000 education. And it's 20 years of payments, and I paid off early. That's a lot of money for degrees that were supposed to help me contribute to society. Now, how does a country or even a world that can keep wars going while calling them peace deals somehow not find the money to care for its people? How, when millions are displaced and thousands killed, including over 20,000 children, can anyone call these attacks righteous, holy, good, or justified? I can't help but wonder whether the money fueling these wars could be redirected to help the world's citizens instead. And then, let's go back to that World Cup again. Billions spent and billions earned. It makes me wonder, where is the money that's needed for healthcare, education, housing, and children? Childcare? Where? Where is the money to fix the systems that are breaking right in front of us? Couldn't it go from courtrooms to living rooms? Couldn't it go from sports programs to living rooms? Couldn't it go from idealistic wars to living rooms? Where is the money to fix the systems that are breaking right in front of us? I'm just curious.